Hello, guy. Hello, Freddy. Hello, Eric. How are you doing?
Hi, teacher. How are you?
Hello. Thank you. Fine, thanks. Thank you very much. Hello, Adriana. Hello, Adriana. Hello, Marcela. How are you doing today? Hello, everyone.
Hi, teacher.
Hello. How is everybody doing today? It's nice and sunny here at my house. But you know, sometimes it's not exactly the same everywhere in Cuenca. How is the weather where you live?
It's raining.
It's raining?
Yep, in my house it's raining.
I see. I see. I understand. Well, here it's pretty sunny, but you know how Cuenca is, right? Sometimes a moment is sunny, and right after that it's raining, and you never know, right? Kind of like the way it works. Okay, guys, let's continue then. Okay. So I'm gonna share the screen with you. And let's see. So, can you read what is the title of this unit? Can you tell me what is the title of the unit of what we're gonna study today? We are on unit 11, okay? We're starting unit 11 now. What is the title of this unit? Tell me, please.
Right of passage.
Yes, rites of... correct, rites of passage. That's right, very good, rites of passage. Now, what is the meaning of this thing, rites of passage? Are you familiar with this expression, with this phrase, if you will, in English?
Ritos de pasaje.
Por ahí va, claro, más o menos, sí, ¿no? Ritos de paso, algo por el estilo, right? So, and what is the meaning of this? Well, it depends, right? In every culture, this varies. In every culture, this varies. But for example, have you ever heard of bungee? Well, have you ever done bungee jumping? Have you ever done that? Have you ever done bungee jumping or never? But tell me, do tell me.
Never.
No, never? Well, I did it. I remember I did it about, I think it was about 10 years ago. Wow. Yeah, about 10 years ago, I went to Baños de Ambato and I did it there. Yeah. It was pretty scary, but it was pretty exciting as well. But anyway, bungee jumping. Do you know where, but you know what I'm talking about when I say bungee jumping, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Right. But do you know that? Did you know that this was this sport? Well, it's not exactly a sport. This activity was born in an African culture, and it's been done for hundreds of centuries. Did you know that? Well, the Maasai, an African culture, an African tribe, they have this thing where a child, especially a male child, becomes a man. He becomes a man. Usually when they are 13 or something like that, 13, 14, they become men when they do this. They have their own version of bungee jumping, which is the origin of bungee jumping, as a matter of fact. They use these very flexible ropes from a tree. Usan estas cuerdas flexibles, right? These unas lianas, are some ropes that are natural in that place. So they tie them to the feet of men. They build a structure. They build a structure kind of like a similar a un andamio, right? They build a structure with different levels. And they can jump from different heights. They can jump from different heights. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes, teacher.
All right, so that's what they do. That's what they do. They have this structure with different levels, different heights, and people jump from those different levels of this thing, and they are tied to these flexible ropes, right? So if you're not so brave, you might jump from the lowest part, right? Or if you're a newbie, si son novatos, right? If you're new at this, then you might be jumping from the lowest level. But then, as your experience and as your courage, su valor, as your courage increases, you go jumping from higher and higher. However, when let's say a child, it's usually a teenager, right, decides to jump from the highest level, in the moment that he gathers enough courage to do that, because it is kind of dangerous, right? I mean, usually nothing bad happens, but sometimes it might happen, and anyway, it requires a lot of courage, right? So when a person, it's usually a very young person, not very young, but a teenager, jumps from that height, well, he becomes a man, right? And that is their rite of passage. And sometimes it happens that an 8-year-old boy wants to do this, and he goes to the upper level, but they usually chicken out. They are usually afraid of doing that in the moment, right? Because yeah, it's gotta be scary to look at a big precipice in front of you, right? And do that, it's gotta be really scary. I mean, you're risking your life after all. But sometimes it's happened that a small child, like 8 or 9-year-old, they actually do it. They go into this very high place and they actually jump, and then they earn the title of man. They are adults in that point. So interesting, right? And that is the origin of bungee jumping. That is the origin of bungee jumping originally. However, we could consider this a rite of passage. This is a rite of passage. This is a rite of passage. Un rito de paso, right? Something important that happens in your life and that signifies a difference in your life, a life-changing event. So that is usually a rite of passage. Or also, have you seen? I mean, Jewish people, los judíos, right? They have bar mitzvahs, and their young boys become men after this ceremony. Or can you think of any other rite of passage? For example, things that we have here in our culture, in the Christian, in the Catholic religion, things like that. Anything that constitutes a rite of passage. Can you think of not just religious, but anything? Think about some of those. What is probably a rite of passage in our culture?
Teacher, can you hear me? Yes.
Uh-huh. I hear you.
I one time I heard about the kids put in the like gloves in his hands with bullets ants that it's very very dangerous.
Uh-huh.
I don't know if you see it.
No, I didn't know about that, but it sounds really interesting. And after they do this, does it have a significance? Do they become like adults or things like that?
Yes, teacher, just like that. Like becomes a man. Like it's enough brave for become a man, and there is that conversion for the child to
Uh,
man.
Interesting, very interesting. I'm going to Google about it. I didn't know about it, but that sounds really interesting. Or also in other African cultures, they have this ritual where they have to go and wrestle. Do you know what is the meaning of wrestle? Like WrestleMania, like the
Yes.
WWF, wrestle, wrestle, right? La lucha. Uh-huh. So they have to eat. And it is also the verb, right? It is also the verb, luchar. And they have to go and wrestle a wild boar. They have to go and wrestle a wild boar. Do you know what is a wild boar? Well, un jabalí. They have to go and wrestle a wild boar like Pumbaa from the Lion King, right? Really dangerous, and they are very, very small when they, I mean, small in age, right? They're usually strong children there, but they are 12 years old or something like that. So a big challenge, right? But they have to do that in order to go into adulthood. And there are also so many rites of passages for girls in many different cultures, right? Passing from being a girl to being a woman. In many cultures, they have all of these rites of passage. So let me see if I can find something to show you, because you know sometimes an image is worth many words. But yeah, okay. Let me see if this isn't too long. How long is this?
Teacher, maybe can be like the rings in Philippine culture. The rings they put in his necks.
Yeah, women do that, right? They put lots of rings around their necks, and their necks actually stretch and become longer, right?
Right, right.
Uh-huh. That is, yeah. I've seen that happen as well. And well, that is a form, to some degree, that is a form of control. They have this ritual. It is a ritual, but the thing is that since their necks become a lot longer with the rings, there is a moment where the neck couldn't support itself. It couldn't stand by itself, because you know the spaces between the vertebrae becomes a lot longer. So they actually need the rings in order to support their necks. And what happens is that if their husbands find out that they have cheated on their husbands, si averiguan que les han sido infieles a sus esposos, well, the husband has the right to take the rings away, to take off the rings from their necks, and their necks will break and they will die without the rings. So yeah, but I've seen that ritual. It's very interesting as well. Very interesting. Now let me share this YouTube video with you. All right, here we go. Not a long video, but anyway, let's listen to it, okay? Can you see the screen? Can you see the video screen?
The tiny South
Yes.
Yes. All right. And can you hear the audio?
Pacific island of Pentecost is home to what may be the most
Can you hear the audio?
Yes.
All right, very good. So let's take a look. It's not long.
dangerous test of faith in the world. Every year, village elders organize a ritual designed to secure the gods' favor. In a spectacular and frightening display called land diving, young men and boys, some just 5 years old, literally risk their necks. Only 2 fragile vines save them from crashing into the ground. It's the ancient precursor of bungee jumping. But here, it's considered a sacrifice for the survival of the community. Chief Willie Orion Bebe presides over his village's ceremony.
When they climb on a tower, they have no fear because it's their culture. The man's faith helped him to put the fear out, and then he must jump. He must take an action to.
Just a little thing. I activated these subtitles, but they are automatically generated subtitles, so they are actually not working very well. So what you can read here in the subtitles is not very precise. So pay more attention to what you hear than what you read, okay?
The jump.
Pay more attention to what you hear as opposed to what you read, okay?
By some estimates, land diving dates back 15 centuries. Its exact origin is obscure, but it is tied to the local religion of animism. People here believe in a world of spirits that demands offerings. Originally, divers would perform just after the yam harvest, to thank the gods and to assure another fruitful crop. The village of Wali is one of several on the island that holds land diving rituals every April and May. Willie Warren supervises the tower's construction.
I built a tower when my father is still alive. When my father died, and I took his place.
By jump day, 9 men have volunteered to dive. A vine breaks, but this diver is lucky. In the past, a snapped vine resulted in a fractured hip. Others have broken collarbones. Traditionally, islanders believe that the higher the jump, the greater the blessing. Men brave enough to dive from the top secured a good yam crop and the prosperity of the community. Willie Warren is one of their best land divers. He gets a raucous welcome. Willie must jump out as far as he can to avoid impaling himself on the tower's rough logs. He urges on the singers, summoning support. Willie proves why he is a land dive champion. He's strong enough to spring back on his feet, an accomplishment few can match. It's a performance worthy of the gods and a personal test of strength, bravery, and faith.
All right, interesting then, right? So yeah, as they said in the video, they do this in order to please, complacer, ¿no? They do this in order to please the gods and get good crops, tener buenas cosechas, and the blessing of the gods in general, right? But what they don't say in the video that I've seen in other documentaries is that, they continue doing this when they are adults to please the gods, to get the good crops. But when they are children and they do it for the first time, the moment they do it, they become adults. And as far as I know, this is a tradition that only men in the tribe do, all right? But yeah, the first time they do it, when they are children, that is their rite of passage, okay? So that is a rite of passage. Good, good. Now, can you think of anything we do in our society, in our culture, that could be considered a rite of passage? Not necessarily something exotic from other places or from different cultures, but something that we do in our society.
I think that something like very likely is there's some things that do in the college in the school when the kids are going to pass to high school. I don't know where it's creo que es el baile de los chúcaros o algo así. No tengo.
Yeah. Well, yeah,
No,
how
no,
to say that in English, right? Because they don't do that in other places, so it would be hard to translate. But yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, that is a rite of passage, exactly, and sort of informal rite of passage, but to a large degree, it is also socially important, right? At least it is important for the person in that moment, right? Because you're trying to please your peers, tratar de complacer a sus pares o a los que están por encima, pues no, a los chicos de colegio. So yeah, that is a rite of passage to a degree. That's right. Yeah, thank you, Mateo. Very good.
Maybe it can be the 15 years in the girls. Party of 15 years.
That's right. Their 15-year-old birthday here in Ecuador. That's right. The party, the pink party that 15-year-old girls get, and yeah, to some degree, that is related to the passing from me being a girl in the sense of a small girl to being a woman, right? So it has that connotation. It does have that connotation. And in the United States, they don't celebrate the 15-year-old party for the girls, but they celebrate the 16-year-old party for the girls, which is called the Sweet 16, Los Dulces 16, no? So yeah, but it's kind of like the same thing, right? Kind of like the same thing. So yeah, good one. Now, let's take a look at what we have in the book. All right. So, and let's see some of the examples that they give us here. But yeah, your examples were very good, actually. So, rites of passage and unforgettable firsts. Well, you know that first is primero, but this is kind of like saying, well, first of all, how do you say olvidar in English? How do you say olvidar?
Forget.
And so what do you think is the meaning of unforgettable? Unforgettable.
Inolvidable.
Yep, very good. Thank you, girls. Exactly. Inolvidable. So unforgettable firsts. Notice that, of course, we wouldn't use first like this in Spanish, right? But in English, it's like saying las inolvidables primeras veces de algo, no? Right? So the unforgettable firsts. So let's take a look at what we have here. The first sleepover. What is a sleepover? Any idea?
Pijamada.
Una pijamada, exactamente, right? The first time a boy or a girl goes to sleep in a different place, maybe at a house, maybe at a friend's house or something like that. Yeah, the first sleepover. Do you remember your first sleepover?
Yes.
Probably you did, right? Did you have fun? Nice. Now, this is another one. Losing your first tooth. What is the meaning of tooth?
Diente.
Yeah, that's right. Did your parents made a thing about telling you that, well, here we do El Ratón Pérez, right? That he would give you money in exchange for your tooth? Did you get some money for your tooth?
Yes.
Yes.
You probably did, right?
Yes.
So here, here people traditionally believe in El Ratón Pérez. In English-speaking countries, they believe in the tooth fairy, right? What is the meaning of fairy? Fairy, like the tooth fairy.
Hada.
Exactly. So el hada de los dientes, the tooth fairy. That's right. Your first day at school. I remember my first day at school. I didn't like it very much. Do you remember your first day at school?
Yeah.
And did you like it? Did you enjoy it or not so much?
I don't like.
You didn't like it. Understandable. Yeah, that's right. I understand. But anyway, even if you didn't like it, it's probably unforgettable, right? Okay, very good. Now, your first pet. Do you remember your first pet?
Yes.
What was your first pet?
A turtle.
Nice. Nice. That's not a very common one. And what size was it? What size was it? Was it like very small? Was it kind of large?
Kind of large.
Nice. Anybody else? What was your first pet, guys and girls? Come on, guys. Let's. Yes. What?
A rabbit.
Nice. Yeah, I remember.
A dog.
A dog. Yeah, I remember. I had my first pet. Well, actually, the pet in my house existed before I was born. So, but anyway, I could consider that my first pet, right? There was a dog in my house, a female dog in my house before I was born. So yeah. Now, the first swim in the ocean. Do you remember that?
Yeah. No. Maybe.
Probably, I mean, maybe some of you do, maybe some of you don't. I think the first time I was in the ocean, the first time I was put in the ocean, I think I was about 1.5 years old. And I have a very, very vague memory of that. Tengo un recuerdo muy vago de aquello. I have a very vague memory of that, but it's very, very understandable that not everybody remembers that, right? Probably you were too young. Oh, your first crush. Do you understand what is the meaning of this? Yeah, that's right. Exactly. This word is a lot more popular. This word is a lot more popular nowadays than it used to be. I mean, from the Spanish speaking perspective, right? The word has been popular in the United States for decades, but here in Ecuador, I mean, not a lot of people knew this before it became a meme. Antes de convertirse en un meme, casi el crush, casi nadie conocía de los hispanohablantes esta palabra, pues no, en español no se conocía mucho, right? But now you know it, right? Now you know what it means. Your first crush. Do you remember your first crush? No.
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 Yeah.
You do. How old were you?
Me?
Yeah. How old were you when you had your first crush?
I like 13.
Okay, good. Yeah. I also remember my first crush. I remember my first crush. It was a Nintendo. Right, yeah. Kind of pathetic, I know, but yeah. So good. Now, first trip with friends, right? High school graduation. Of course, this is a rite of passage and a very important one, right? Did you celebrate your high school graduation?
Yes.
No. Some people do, some people don't. I know. And did you enjoy the celebration for those of you who did?
Yes.
Nice. Was there like a ball, I mean a dance party at your high school, organized by the high school? The prom night. Was there something like that?
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
I see.
Yes.
Yeah, I remember when I graduated from high school, we also had that. And I also went to the party, but I had a broken foot. I had broken my foot. So I couldn't dance. But for me, that was great because I didn't like dancing. So it was the perfect excuse not to dance, to have a broken foot. Yeah, I know. All right, we're good. Now, first paycheck. I mean, probably you haven't had this yet. Maybe some of you have, maybe some of you haven't. It doesn't necessarily have to be a paycheck, but like the first money you get from your work. The first payment you get from your work. Have you ever had a first paycheck or a first payment? A lot of you probably haven't because you're still studying, you're still in the university, right? So not everybody works in this, but I do remember my first paycheck. I was pretty young. I was pretty young when I got my first paycheck. But I gave an idea to my sister's boyfriend at the time. He was a graphic designer, so he was designing a magazine for General Tire, para la llantera. So it was a magazine about, a publicity magazine, and I came up with an idea for the cover artwork, and he liked my idea very much. I think I was 8 years old, so he paid me some money for that in retribution for my idea. So I think that was my first paycheck. Well, not a check, but you know what I mean. Now, getting your driver's license. First of all, do you have a driver's license?
Yes.
Yes, teacher.
Yes.
And do you remember the first time you got it? Do you remember when you got it?
Yes.
Yeah, probably you do, right? Probably you do. It's always nice to have that. I remember this. Let me tell you a little story. Of course, I got it when I was 18, right? I got my driver's license when I was 18. But I went to the place, and back in those days, it was, just policemen doing the whole thing, and it was a little bit stressful. And I remember I went to one of the windows where I was supposed to get some attention, right? There was this policeman who was the clerk in his computer, and he wanted my data and my documents, and I had everything I needed, right? Like the eye exam and the driving exam and everything. I had everything I needed, right? So, but he said, like, so where's your vote certificate? Where's your vote certificate? El certificado de votación, no? And I was like, well, in the last elections, I was 17, so I didn't vote. And he was like, so how do you want to get a driver's license if you're a minor, if you're 17? And I said, like, but I'm 18 now. Now I am 18. And if you are 18, how come you don't have a voting certificate? And I was like, because I was 17 at the time. But he couldn't understand. But anyway, somehow I got it. It was tough, but somehow I got it. Anyway, now entering college. Of course, you remember this, right? No se han de haber emborrachado tanto en este periodo como para no recordar cuando entraron a la universidad. So entering college, that is also a rite of passage, right?
A little bit.
A little bit, yeah. You vaguely remember. Así como yo me acuerdo vagamente de la primera vez que me metí a la cena, ustedes vagamente se acuerdan de cuando entraron a la U. Just kidding, guys. Just kidding. Good. Now, your first heartbreak. Do you remember your first heartbreak?
Yeah.
Oh, that yes was passionate.
Crying,
Yeah.
yes.
I understand. Yeah, not a very nice experience, right?
No.
Not at all.
Not real.
How old were you? When that happened? Sorry.
18.
18. Uh-huh. Pretty young, yeah. That's right. All right. So as you can see, these are some experiences in life, and even though they might not be so formal, but in general terms, they are considered rites of passage, right? Because they are important experiences that, in a way, establish the way we live, right? Okay. Now, let's listen to this conversation that we have here. Okay. So it says, I was so, notice this, immature. Here's an interesting thing. You know that, well, how do you say this in Spanish? Immature.
Maduro.
That's right, exactly. But notice that in Spanish, we use an N, a letter N, and an M, right? En español es NM, inmaduro, ¿no es cierto? For a lot of words that are like that in Spanish, for many words that are like that in Spanish, in English we use a double M, not an N and an M, okay? Like for example this, podríamos pensar que inmaduro se dice immature, ¿no es cierto? Pero en realidad es doble M en inglés, immature. The same thing happens with other words. How do you think you say inmortal in English? How do you say inmortal?
Immortal.
That's right. Exactly. We're going to use a double M. Immortal. Okay? Inmoral. ¿Cómo será inmoral?
Immoral.
Yes, but let's pronounce it only with the M. Pronunciémosle solo con la M. Immoral.
Moral.
Yes, that's right. So, as you can see, in many words in which in Spanish we have an N and an M, in English we have a double M, okay? Like, for example, immortal, immoral, and also immature, okay? So now let's listen to this, okay? Please let me know if you can hear the audio.
Unit 11, Rites of Passage.
Can you hear the audio?
Yes.
All right.
Yes, teacher.
Thank you. Now let's listen and read, okay?
Page 72. Exercise 2. Conversation. I was so immature. Part A. Listen and practice.
Congratulations, graduate. What's next for my favorite nephew?
I'm your only nephew, Uncle Jim.
But you're still my favorite. Anyway, what are your plans?
I'm looking for a job so I can make some money before I go to college.
Ah, after I graduated, I went to Alaska to work as a fisherman. It was a tough job, but it helped me grow up.
How do you mean?
Until I started working, I'd never had any important responsibilities. I was so immature. But once I moved away from home, I had to learn to take care of myself.
So you became independent?
Yeah, but not for very long, actually. After 2 months, I moved back home and got a job at your grandfather's store.
Hey, I think my search just ended. I'm going to talk to Grandpa about a job.
Okay, very good. Now, just in case, any words here, any vocabulary that is new? You can ask me. Don't be shy. No problem if you don't know something. A veces tenemos miedo de preguntar, porque a lo mejor el profe nos dice, pero esto es algo que ya deberían saber, ya han estudiado los ciclos pasados, ¿por qué no saben? No tengan ese miedo. Si cualquier cosa que no entiendan o no sepan, pregunten nomás. All right? So, any word, anything you don't know from here?
Teacher, what's the meaning of nephew?
Good question. Nephew means sobrino.
Okay, thanks.
You're welcome. So it's kind of funny here. What's next for my favorite nephew? I'm your only nephew, but you're still my favorite. Pero aún así eres mi favorito, right? So, very good. Any other word here? For example, what is the meaning of fisherman? What is the meaning of fisherman?
Pescador. Maybe
Yes.
pescador.
That's right, very good. And this word is interesting. What is the meaning of, notice the pronunciation, tough. What is the meaning of tough?
Duro.
Duro, that's right. It can be used in many ways, right? Puede ser para duro, para difícil. Bueno, hard también no es duro y difícil, ¿no? También puede ser para un tipo rudo, a tough guy. A guy walks into a bar and has a few beers and fights with 10 people around the bar, and he beats them all. That's a tough guy, right? Tough. Or a tough teacher. You could have a tough teacher as well. Am I a tough teacher? I don't think so, right? Not so much. All right, now let me show you this. I'll just improvise a little bit. Let me show you some. I want to search for some images that might come up if we use the word tough. Okay. Okay, so there you have some words that end, some images for tough, right? So tough. This is tough. That's a tough girl right there, right? Tough. Tough times. That is what we are living right now with the pandemic. These are some tough times, right? And yeah, that's so as you can see. Those are some, here's a tough woman, right? So there you go. That is kind of like the idea. Look at this machine gun here, a submachine gun. It's a tough one, right? Me sorprende que no haya salido un celular Nokia por ahí en tough, que suele pasar también. There you go. Yeah, there you go. There it is. I knew that would come up. Right? So tough. And notice this. Usually when you have GH at the end of a word, it is silent. It doesn't make a sound, right? Usualmente cuando tenemos GH al final de una palabra, es mudo, no suena, ¿no? Por ejemplo, la palabra, una muy similar les voy a poner, a ver, pongámosle por aquí. Though. Look, what I put here below Google, can you see it? Though. Y noten, se parecen un montón las dos, pero la pronunciación es súper distinta, ¿sí? What is the meaning of though? What is the meaning, first of all? What is the meaning of though? Do you know? What is though? Anybody? Well, though means aunque. Yes, that's right, aunque. Very good. O también podemos decir although. Y es casi lo mismo. El significado es el mismo, solo que a veces por ciertas cosas, y muchas veces les puedo usar intercambiablemente. Podría usar en las mismas situaciones though u although, pero a veces varía un poco, ¿sí? Sometimes el uso preciso varía un poquito, pero en general, although o though, aunque, right? Aunque. And one more time, what is the meaning of tough? What is the meaning of tough?
Fuerte. Duro.
Duro, fuerte, rudo puede ser también, ¿no? Right? Very good, very good. En algunos casos también difícil, ¿sí? Así, como duro. That exam was tough. Similar a lo que pasa con hard, ¿no es cierto? Hard también es literalmente duro, pero le solemos usar como difícil, ¿no? Oh, this was very hard, man. Estuvo bien difícil, ¿no? And also, this was very tough, man. It was very tough. Notice the pronunciation. So we've, just let me do this. Although, aunque, pero lo pronunciaríamos así, ¿no? Si se escribiese en español sería algo así. Perdón. Although. Algo así, ¿no? Although. Noten la GH del final completamente muda. Generalmente eso pasa cuando tengo GH al final de una palabra, ¿no? Though, ¿sí? D-O-U, ¿no? Though, del aunque, pero este se pronuncia súper diferente. Esto sería tough, la pronunciación. En esta palabra, in this word, GH sounds like an F. So don't forget that. This doesn't happen a lot, but it happens in a few words. It happens in a few words. Do you remember any other word in which a GH sounds like an F? Do you remember any word in which a GH sounds like an F? The other one. How do you say in English suficiente? How do you say suficiente in English?
Enough.
Aha, there you go.
No.
So this is one, right? This is one. So like enough. Aproximadamente así sería la pronunciación, ¿no es cierto? And this means suficiente. Suficiente o suficientemente también, ¿no? Todo un temita aquello, right? Enough. And take a look at this picture here. Take a look at this picture here. That says tough enough. Can you see it? The one I'm signaling? Can you see this one? Tough enough? What is the meaning of tough enough?
Suficientemente duro.
Yeah, that's right. Very good, very good. So let's repeat. So that you remember the pronunciation, okay? Let's say tough enough.
Tough enough.
Very good. One more time. Tough enough.
Tough enough.
Good. Very good. Now, let's repeat again. Let's repeat. Are you tough enough?
Are you tough enough?
That's right. Very good. Vamos a ver si sale algún video con algo que ponga de Are you tough enough? Let's see. Let me erase this for a moment. Okay. Are you tough enough? Let's see. Y noten, ha habido un video musical que yo ni conocía, pero noten en este primer video musical cómo están escribiendo tough enough. Está mal escrito, pero es por la pronunciación, ¿no? O sea, están jugando un poquito los gringos y todo esto, ¿no? Tough enough. Noten cuánto suena como GH esto, ¿no? Are you tough enough? Challenge. Let's see what this is. Because actually, this is a word that is very, very common in English.
Kids HD has traveled around Malaysia in search.
I don't even know what this is, but it's pretty short, so let's watch it.
Kids HD has traveled around Malaysia in search.
Well, it's getting a little bit skippy. Yeah, that the internet is not so good right now. So well, anyway, but you get the idea. You get the idea, right? Tough, duro, rudo, difícil. All right, very good. Now, let's go back to your book for a moment. And let's also go into something that we have here. Sorry. Okay. So, to speak about time, oftentimes it is very useful to have these words that we have. And this is going to be very easy for you, but anyway, let's take a look at them. What is the meaning of before? Antes, of course, right? What is the meaning of after?
Después.
Después, that's right. Ah, claro, eso sí pasa, ¿no? El after tiene más pinta de antes, ¿no es cierto? But yeah, it is the opposite, right? After, después, before, antes, ¿no es cierto? Por eso luego de una fiesta o de algo de farra se van de after, pues, ¿no es cierto? Es porque es después, right? So, after, that's right, very good. So, before I graduated from high school, I had never worked. Aquí tenemos un pasado perfecto de esos que repasamos en las primeras clases. ¿Qué significaría esto? Before I graduated from high school, I had never worked. How do you say that in Spanish? Before I graduated from high school?
Yo nunca había trabajado.
Eso, yo nunca había trabajado. Muy bien, had en pasado, ¿no? Entonces esto es pasado perfecto. Yo nunca había trabajado. El pasado del pasado, ¿no? Que me gradué del colegio es el pasado simple, pero antes de eso un pasado perfecto. ¿Recuerdan? So, antes de graduarme del colegio, yo... y noten, ahora sí, esto también es interesante. En español diríamos, como bien dijeron ustedes, antes de graduarme, ¿sí? Antes de graduarme, pero en inglés se utiliza un pasado para esto. O sea, la traducción no es literal. Before I graduated. Literalmente sería como decir, antes de que yo me gradué del colegio. Y tiene sentido, pero en español solo no lo decimos así, ¿no es cierto? En español sonaría mucho más elegante. Antes de graduarme del colegio, yo nunca había trabajado. El yo nunca había trabajado sí es literal, es tal cual. Pero noten eso, ¿no? Antes de graduarme, antes de viajar, cualquiera de estos. En español estoy usando un infinitivo, en inglés se utilizaría un pasado simple, ¿no? Y es simple, sino que en este, como es regular, pues podríamos confundirle con el participio, pero es un pasado simple, ¿ok? Before I graduated from high school, I had never worked. Antes de graduarme del colegio, nunca había trabajado. After I graduated, I went to Alaska to work as a fisherman. What is the meaning of that? Can you say that in Spanish?
Después de
graduarme fui a Alaska para
trabajar como pescador.
Yes. Very good. Excellent. Very good. Very good. Now, here's an interesting one. What is the meaning of once? What is the meaning of once?
una vez.
Yeah, that's right. Una vez. Si no sabían eso, de repente anotaránse, ¿no? Once, una vez. Si no lo sabían, por favor, anotaránse, ¿sí? Once, una vez. And don't forget to always keep a notebook for the classes, okay? Don't forget to have a notebook where you can take notes. That is very, very useful and important when we have classes, okay? So very good. Once, una vez. Eso puede servirme para hablar de la frecuencia de algo, ¿no es cierto? Por ejemplo, yo me baño una vez al día. I take a shower, I bathe once a day, right? I don't know. Yo visitaba a mis abuelos una vez a la semana. I visited or I used to visit my grandparents once a week. para indicar frecuencia, pero tal como en español, me puede servir para indicar la frecuencia o para indicar qué es lo que va a pasar después de que otra cosa ocurrió. Por ejemplo, una vez que terminé el colegio, entré a la universidad, ¿no es cierto? O sea, ya que eso pasó, pues pasó lo siguiente. Tanto en inglés como en español, entonces usamos el una vez con estos dos usos, ¿no? Once. So what is the meaning of this? Once I moved away from home, I learned to take care of myself. What is the meaning of that?
Una vez que me
Una
mudé
vez que me
de casa, yo aprendí a cuidarme a mí.
Exactly. Yes, very good. Very good. Una vez que me mudé de casa, que me fui de la casa, ¿no es cierto? Aprendí a cuidarme a mí mismo, a encargarme de mí mismo, ¿no es cierto? A cuidarme solo. Yes. Very good, very good. So, very good. Once. The moment, very easy. I'm not even going to ask you because this is obvious, but the moment I moved away from home, I felt like a different person. So, what is the meaning of all the sentence? What is the meaning of the whole sentence?
Al momento que me fui de casa o salí de casa, me sentí como una persona diferente.
Exactly, very good. Me sentí como una persona diferente. So yeah, very good. The present, feel. The base form, the infinitive, feel. The past, felt. Very good, very good. Now, what is the meaning of this one? As soon as. What is as soon as?
Tan pronto como.
Very good. Tan pronto como. Muy bien, muy bien. Si no le sabían, anotaránse, ¿no? Claro, y no solo para el soon, para cualquier adjetivo, si quiero establecer igualdad entre dos cosas. Por ejemplo, Jeff es tan rápido como Mike. Jeff is as fast as Mike. Pongo el adjetivo en medio de as y de as. El primer as significaría tan, el segundo as significaría como. Así lo traduciríamos al español. Así que muy bien lo que dijeron ustedes. As soon as, tan pronto como. So what is the meaning of this? As soon as I got my own bank account, I started to be more responsible.
Pronto como tuve mi cuenta bancaria, comencé a ser más responsable.
Yes, very good. Tan pronto como conseguí, como obtuve mi propia cuenta de banco, empecé a ser más responsable. Very good. Now, what is the meaning of this other important word? Until. What is until?
Hasta.
Hasta. Very good. Hasta. So this course will last until July, for example, right? Este curso durará hasta julio. This course will last until July. Very good. So what is the meaning of this? Until I moved to Alaska, I have never been away from home.
Hasta que me mudé a Alaska, yo nunca había estado lejos de casa.
Very good, very good. Excellent. Hasta que me mudé a Alaska, yo nunca había estado lejos de casa. Very good, very good. Notarán la pronunciación, ¿no? Recuerden que de la ed, cuando un verbo está con ed, casi nunca suena la e, ¿no? Por ejemplo, esto no se pronuncia moved, esto se pronuncia moved. Aquí también moved, ¿no es cierto? Acá no se pronunciaría learned, sino learned, learned, casi como una T, ¿no? Recuerden. Y solo en este de aquí sí pronuncio la E, graduated, graduated. ¿Por qué en este sí pronuncié la E?
Porque estaba una T antes de...
Exactly. Excellent. Very good. You make me proud. Very good, very good. So, si el verbo termina en T, bueno, graduate termina en E, pero el último sonido es T. Si el último sonido de un verbo base es T, o D también, al poner la ED, ahí suena la E. Por ejemplo, want, wanted, ¿no es cierto? Need, needed, pero generalmente no. No worked, worked. No learned, learned, ¿no es cierto? So that is the thing. Very good. No moved, moved. Very good. Now, this one is an interesting one. By the time I went to college, what is the meaning of by the time?
Por el tiempo.
Para el momento.
Para el momento, para el tiempo, o para cuándo también podríamos decir, no, en español, para cuándo. By the time I went to college, para cuándo, ¿qué sería?
Fui a la universidad.
Exactly, very good, yes, perfect. By the time I went to college, para cuando fui a la universidad, o para el momento en el que fui a la universidad, I had already lived away from home.
Ya había vivido lejos de casa.
Exactly. Yes, perfect. Yo ya había vivido lejos de casa. Para cuando fui a la universidad, ya había vivido lejos de casa. Excellent. Very good, very good. So now, let's do this little exercise here, okay? So, let's complete the information that you have on the left with what you have on the right. Notice that more than one answer is possible here. You won't have just one answer, okay? But anyway, let's try to put the correct letter or letters. Si encuentran más de una opción correcta, pónganlas todas. Put the letter or letters in the correct spaces, okay? Do you understand? All right, let's do that. Yes, sorry. Yes, sorry. Okay, guys, so notice that more than one answer is possible, right? More than, if you didn't finish, don't worry. Let's just check a few of your answers, but notice that more than one answer is possible, okay? So what did you put in the first one? Until I went to college? I had never taken school very seriously. Yeah, very good, very good. In number two, what did you put in two? Before I became a parent? G could be, I had never cooked a real meal. Could be, yes. Any other idea? H, I had never worried about the future. Yeah, that too. Yes. And there might be more, right? There could be more. Podrían haber más que estén bien también. Pero solo por tema de tiempo vamos con la siguiente, all right? Once I joined a sports team, A could be the best option here, right? A, I learned the importance of teamwork. But you could also have other options that might be correct as well, right? The moment I had a car accident.
B.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, well, this is like very obvious, right? This is like very obvious. Sí, porque si no, en anterior, antes de convertirme en padre, entendí que no deberías textear y manejar, so no tanto, ¿no? Right. Now, as soon as I got my first paycheck, what do you have here? F. I began to understand the value of money. Yes, it could be. Very good. By the time I was 15,
C.
I realized that I wasn't a child anymore. Yeah, very good. ¿Han oído ese poema de Medardo Ángel Silva? Hoy en este día, qué tristeza sin nombre de dejar de ser niño y empezar a ser hombre, y etc. Yes. Now in number 7, after I began a relationship,
D.
Of course, I learned that love can hurt. Sorry, what is the meaning of hurt?
Doler.
Doler, exacto. Puede ser lastimar también, ¿no? Herir o lastimar, pero sí, muy bien, doler también. Very good. Por ejemplo, si digo, me duele el brazo, my arm hurts, my arm hurts. Okay, very good. Ajá. Y puede ser lastimar también. Don't hurt me, no me lastimes. Okay, so it has the two meanings. After I began a until I left home,
G.
I had never cooked a real meal. Yeah, could be G, yes. Also, yep, that's right. Very good, very good. So, thank you very much for your attention, guys, today. Good work, everybody. Good job, everybody. And that's it for today. No homework for tomorrow, okay?
Thank you, teacher.
You're welcome, everybody. You're welcome.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, everybody. Have a nice afternoon and see you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow, teacher.
Thanks, teacher. Have a nice day.
Thank you very much. You too. Goodbye, everybody.